Justin Meyer writes RMSO. My second encounter just near the Res and Mountain Man side of my hometown of Riverton, Wyoming, also while fishing, involved me, my stepdad, coming across a den that was dug out under the side of a dry river embankment. I seen footprints in the mud. They were around 16 to 19 inches in length each. My stepdad blew it off. I knew better and reminded him of what I saw in Montana. He said it wasn't real. I instantly started scanning the trees, which were sparse, and sure enough, I spotted an all-black one from about 80 to 90 yards away, swaying from behind a tree. Needless to say, my stepdad then just become a believer. 2 nights later, several of us heard it yelling during the 4th of July from maybe 100 yards or less, and at about 300 yards from us, we saw it. Then a few nights later, being woke by the neighbor's dogs going crazy. These huge black fingers were reaching through my bedroom window. It only opened a few inches from the bottom to the top, being a mobile home. And just like when we were at the den, there was this smell, like trash and feces. I got my ex-girlfriend up slowly and onto the floor. I then stood up, and there it was. It was inches away from the window. It simply pulled its hand back, turned around, and walked away. The bedroom window was about 8 feet up off the ground. Later that spring, I went down there with my mother. She wanted to know more about the footprints in the snow and the mud. We both got these strange feelings, and at the same time, we left. Growing up, my granddad, who was a World War II Army vet, his rancher friends, my mother's friends, even a retired Wyoming fish and game warden, warned me and my brother about these beings, especially near the rivers. That's the big wind and the little wind. They rejoin in Riverton, Wyoming, where we seen it, and from Du Bois, Wyoming, due west of Riverton by 3 hours to Boysen Reservoir, which is about 15 miles northeast of Riverton, all within the Wind River Range, which is their backyard. I've sensed their presence while trying to fish near Springfield, Missouri, and out along Stockton Lake north of Springfield. The feelings of dread and of being watched just overwhelm me sometimes. Myself and a group from this church I used to attend come across the odor that smelled like that den at my bedroom window while at the Stockton Lake near this thick brush, and while going up the Little Sac River from Stockton with a friend. There was a section of dread and fear of these things. He never said anything. I asked. He said nothing. Then this last June, me and my wife went through northeast Wyoming, and sure enough, not far from the town of Buffalo at this campsite, even though it was full of about a dozen fifth wheel campers just off the dirt road, we saw a few X structures with at least 40-foot pines stripped of their branches. We left. I grew up in the great outdoors, used to hunt, still go fishing. I know that these things are very real, very intelligent, very methodical. They are far more superior than apes. I will not accept the nonsense said about these beings. I appreciate what you guys do and for sharing people's encounters. I do not promote just anyone because no one is a know-it-all on the topic of Sasquatch, but I listen very carefully in what a few do say about these beings. We must learn from each other, and we must never hand evidence over to the government or to Moneymaker because of how they treat those who have had encounters. Personally, I cannot accept that Sasquatch are some type of alien creature, but personally, I believe that they are half human, but of the fallen angels. That's just my beliefs. Take it however. I thank you guys. RMSO responds, "Hi, I read your encounter and sighting experience that you emailed us. I had a feeling they were in Du Bois. Did an expedition out there last June. I have also explored south of Billings around the Beartooth area, and then west of Billings. We hiked the crazy mountains of Montana after receiving a Bigfoot sighting report, and there are also some 411 investigations in that area. Appreciate hearing from you. These sighting reports are very important to our group. It helps give us a window into the activity of the creatures, where they live and travel." Justin responds, "The first one was along the Yellowstone River just south of Billings. I believe it's called the Riverfront Park, which isn't even 1 mile south of town. There are 2 ponds, a wooded area, and of course the river. Then my second was at the Mountain Man Rendezvous site, southeast of Riverton, where the Little Wind and Big Wind meet. There are also 2 ponds and a heavy wooded area. It all borders the reservation. I've heard of the other encounters near Riverton, at the north of what was the train bridge up to the Boyson Reservoir, the Wind River Canyon, then going back west towards Du Bois and the ranches near Lander, all throughout the reservation. I know that there's thousands of acres, but these things do go through Riverton area along the two rivers. But it really surprised me that in both locations of my encounters, just how close to civilization they took place. Thank you for your interest and help. I do appreciate it. RMSO responds. It's a common misconception that you have to be in some remote, difficult place to get to have a Bigfoot encounter and sighting. However, most Bigfoot sightings reported happen near popular reservoirs, rivers, campgrounds, and some in or near towns. I hope the viewers enjoyed this Bigfoot sighting report. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.